Hello.
Hello, hello.
Okay, so we are recording another episode of the Zero10 Podcast where we have Dr. Stu Bittman with us today. Andy sends her regards. She can't make it today, but I get the pleasure of interviewing Dr. Stu. And I met Dr. Stu in Europe at a Cairo Europe seminar, or no, yeah, Cairo Europe seminar
hmm
is how that goes. And listening back to his podcast, he actually talked about that a while, like shortly after the seminar. And he mentioned something about it being so loving. Like you just get so much love from that seminar. And I experienced the very same thing. I don't know if I've ever been around a group of people that like endearingly hugged you so much. It was just so fun. And he was somebody that I got to meet. So I'm very excited for this
Thanks.
connection and we get to hang out again. This is great.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes. So
Mhm.
Dr. Stu is a chiropractor. He's a speaker and author. I've got a couple of his books sitting right next to me. Podcast host. I don't know, everything. Retreat host. All the things seems like you've done throughout the years.
All
So
around. Man about town. Yes.
yes. So, Dr. Sue, why don't you just go ahead and start like where you came from? Like what was
Hmm.
the start of
Well,
your
it's a
life?
dangerous question when one is in their 70th trip around the sun because that could take up the whole time. But
It's fair.
let's see. Let's see where I would start that. Well, I became a chiropractor and I graduated in 1986,
Okay.
which April 12th, 1986. So it'll be 40 years this April. And I graduated from the Los Angeles School as the valedictorian. I'm not bragging. I'm saying I learned. I essentially had to unlearn a lot to really be successful as a chiropractor. So I struggled in practice for a while, and I ended up finding the chiropractic philosophy, which I did not learn in school.
That's
And
interesting to me that wasn't a thing back then.
it was definitely not a thing. we we had one class that was called philosophy, but
Only one?
it was essentially a history class.
Oh, okay.
So, which was valuable to learn our history, but I didn't learn anything about the philosophy until years later when I happened to go to what was called Parker seminars, big seminar in chiropractic, and heard some of the people who ended up being my teachers and mentors, and uh, I had a purpose for the first time, and things got a lot better. And then I heard about mission trips to Panama that I participated in four of them between 1997 and 2000. Five of them. Yeah, once to Costa Rica also. So those were life and career changing, which we could talk about. But
Yes.
essentially, really quickly, we adjusted hundreds of thousands of people, literally. The third time was the biggest one. It was 147 chiropractors. And we were adjusting for 5 days, for like 5 hours a day in every town in Panama that had like 5 or 10,000 people or more. And
Wow.
we adjusted close to 400,000 people in that week. And there's only like 2.5 million people in the country, so it was a
That's
pretty astounding. We saw things that I could, again, we could take hours to describe to you. Most of the stuff, though, we didn't see, which was super cool. I mean, we had no idea. We sometimes we were only spending like 10 seconds per person.
yeah.
We were just adjusting maybe one bone in their neck just because we would show up, there'd be 5,000 people waiting in line. We couldn't really
What?
do our usual
How'd they know
thing.
you were there? Like just
Well,
around?
the people who were organizing it were from Panama, though they were
Oh,
living
cool.
in California, and the wife um, has family who's big in government. In fact, really big in government, like senators, and I think
That's
her father was the Secretary of Agriculture or something at the time. So she was able to go on TV and radio and stuff and say we were there. I think a lot of people in Panama don't necessarily have TVs and radios, but
true.
the word got around.
One
I don't know.
person might in like a 12-mile
Yeah,
radius and then they talk.
but it was astounding. The first couple of days weren't all that busy, but
Yeah.
most of us learned pretty much to say one phrase in Spanish, which I have promptly forgotten. But it was something like "come back tomorrow with your family" or something. And
Oh, okay. It wasn't even
people
like sit
people took
down
that
or,
literally.
yeah.
The other thing some of us attempted to learn to say in Spanish was "I move the bone, God does the healing."
Mm.
And one guy in particular I know was messing it up and telling people all day that he moved the egg and God does the healing. And people still came back the next
You're like,
day with
okay.
probably with bushels of eggs and stuff. But but it was astounding, and we saw people get up out of wheelchairs. And
Yeah.
second day we were there on the first trip, we had been adjusting in this big institution for kids with challenges of all kinds. And one of the deaf girls was no longer deaf after
Really.
one adjustment on the first day. And that of course, if you don't know, is the story of how chiropractic started in 1895. Not with the same girl, but
Not, yeah.
yeah.
A man named
So
Mark.
these trips changed me a lot, and I just went on a course of simplifying. But mostly, what changed for me was I recognized that I was a completely different person and chiropractor in Panama than in my office. I was much clearer, much more certain. Maybe the fact that we didn't speak the same language helped a lot with that. I didn't get involved with stuff that for me doesn't really matter. Uh, and again, only with them for, a matter of seconds. But for those 10 seconds, it's hard to describe, but maybe you've probably experienced something like that. Nobody else in the universe or no other time in the universe existed for those few seconds. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was amazing. Amazing.
Why do you, I have some philosophies, but why do you think people seem to respond so well to chiropractic care there? It's not like they've been adjusted for 12 times twice a week, and then all of a sudden they had this miraculous thing, right? Like, why do you
they're
think that
very, I think they're very faith-based people to begin with. Um, but I think one of the main things is they had no idea what chiropractic was, and we were able to present it, according to what we think it is,
Right, right.
according to the original ideas of what it is. So hard to say. They were. People say it was because it was free, but all their healthcare is free.
Okay.
Um, so I don't think it was that.
Mm-mm.
And some of them had to walk for miles, and then some of them were carried. I mean, yeah. Again, I don't really know how to answer your question, but I think a big part of it was our energy and our people just wanted, felt it, wanted to be around it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing. The whole vibrational energy of the country changed. We would go into a cigar store in the middle of Panama City, and everybody would like stand up and say, "Oh, you must be the doctors who are making everybody smile."
Oh my
And that
gosh.
became kind of the theme. In fact, I don't remember which mission, but I had worked in this institution. I talked about this special school for kids. This parents would drop the kids off in the morning and pick them up. And at the end of the week, they threw a lunch for us, and every single teacher and administrator and janitor, as far as I knew, got up and made a speech, and it was all in Spanish, so I didn't understand a word, and most of us didn't understand a word, but everybody was crying, and we were crying. And finally, this lady gets up who had been like guiding us around all week. I just thought she was somebody who was assigned to us, but she apparently was the head honcha of
Oh,
the
really?
school.
Okay.
And so we got this translated later. She said, "I've been here for 27 years, and these kids have been exposed to every conceivable medical intervention you can imagine. And we've never seen anything impact the kids as much as these last 5 days of you guys adjusting." And then she says, and she related some stories, including the girl who had gotten her hearing back and some other stories that we didn't even know about.
Right.
But then she said, by far the most common thing everybody's talking about is the fact that some of these kids are smiling and they've never smiled before.
Yeah.
So, your
Unbelievable.
listeners, I think it's important to know that I was the valedictorian in my chiropractic class, and we did not learn an adjustment for smiling.
We did not. You're right. You're right. No, we did not. We did not.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I was listening to, I don't know which interview you had, but I was listening to one and you talked about the valedictorian thing, and I was valedictorian but not of chiropractic school, but I have realized just how hard that has been to shift in like internally, all of it, between being an achiever in the first place and that, you're doing the work and it's not the truth, and like all all of the things that are coming up with an analytical brain that I thought that was going to get me somewhere, and it just really, I mean, it
How
has
long?
it serves
How
me
long?
well, I can think,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah. It's
doesn't.
good. It's a good support.
It's a good support.
Yes.
That's a great way to
I
put
don't
that.
think we want to let it in the front seat too often, though.
No.
No.
Why do you think it's so easy for our mind to take over?
We're just culturally indoctrinated that way. I mean,
Culture.
I never had a teacher who asked me how I was feeling about something,
No.
you know,
Yeah.
so it's always about what you know. And so, yeah, it's our default.
It
I mean,
is.
unless we had a very, very strange upbringing.
Which
Yeah,
would
that's the
actually what we would probably consider not strange anymore. Like I
no, no,
probably
no, no, no.
wouldn't, but but at the
Strange in
time,
the
yeah.
non-status quo, the meaning of the word strange. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, actually the most natural sort of upbringing in the world is strange in the world today. But
Right.
yeah,
Did
yeah,
you
I
see
think
that with kids on your mission trip for I noticed because I went to the Dominican before, or no, shortly after I saw you guys, because I won the trip at
oh
Cairo,
nice.
Europe. So I was with Dr. Peter Morgan down there, and I couldn't believe that. Well, I just didn't realize. I didn't realize the difference in what a community of kids could look like there and a community of kids can look like here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I'm talking community as like it wasn't just one kid walking into your room, right? It was a group of 100. It was 90 kids that would all show up at one time, and we'd be going through and adjusting all of them, right? And teaching the Cairo students how to take care of kids, right?
Right.
So it wasn't like super fast or anything, but the way that they just handled that,
Mm-hmm.
and some babies, they wouldn't wake up and all the things. And here, when I'm seeing like, I adjust out of my grandma's house right now, and so we have a living room with toys and a couch where people are
Nice.
visiting and chatting about what happened during the day or whatever. And it's just mass chaos, actually, quite often, where it's just, and I know that the kids are comfortable and stuff, like to play, but their nervous systems just are so much more overstimulated. And
Mm-hmm.
there in the Dominican, it's almost like we needed to amp it up a little bit. It was just two very different nervous system
Yeah, different
states.
energy. Yes,
Yeah.
I was really pleased. My daughter joined me on all the mission trips when she was the first time she was 10
Oh my gosh.
something. So yeah, it was great for her to see that. We all started to question who were the primitive ones. I mean, I
Yeah.
there's just so much dignity and so many values were just so. I mean, we our setup was different. We would walk into the school. We'd
Okay.
walk into classrooms and
Okay.
adjust the kids at their desks. But
Yeah.
every single classroom, and this was from I don't know all grade levels. We'd walk in, everybody, and all the kids would stand up. Buenos dias, and I'm like, no, this. I'm not in the States anymore.
Right.
So yeah, that kind of thing, respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's what you were asking me, but yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's
absolutely a
well, not just
difference.
the
Yes.
culture, but definitely there was just a difference in state for sure. Nervous
Yeah,
system
and
states.
not just the kids that these people who I know have nothing, and yet they're still inviting you into their homes and
Mm-hmm.
bringing you food. And I was kind of a vegetarian at the time, but I couldn't bring myself to say no, I can't eat this. When you're giving me your, I mean, I don't know how much chicken you have, but you're giving me some of it. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. It was great.
Okay, so what changed then when you came back? When you came home from, because that was 6, 8 months of quite a few. Or
It
how?
was, yeah, so we went about every 5 or 6 months for a
Yeah.
few years.
Okay.
So what changed for me was I decided, well, because a lot of the people who went, things didn't change because they were too wrapped up in how it could never be like that in here. And I recognized, I mean, I thought of doing so. I thought of learning a different language so I didn't have to speak the same language as people. But then I realized I would still understand what they were saying, so it wasn't going to work out as well. And I thought of getting rid of my tables and my chiropractic assistant and my phone and just putting some black metal folding chairs like we had in Panama and going out into the street and saying "Mas vida," more life here. Then I came to my senses and realized what was really different again about that experience was me.
Yeah.
And so I decided instead to work on me, to become the chiropractor in my office that I was in Panama. And in fact, I stopped calling them mission trips and I started calling them training trips because the mission was in my office. I have retired since, but uh, that's that's where I had to show up in that same way. And so I spent the next whatever 10, 12 years of my practice life simplifying and saying less and doing less, but loving more and being present more. And so that's really what changed for me. I saw the power of intention and the power of not getting too attached to things that for me don't really matter, like what people think about me or whether they're paying me or not, or um, those things to me interfere with my ability to really be present and love people and really be there for them.
Right.
So that's what changed for me.
Right. I think
Yeah.
that's something that we can take into not just chiropractic, careers, like anything that we do, like, understanding what it is that was maybe holding you back from loving a little
Mhm.
bit more or serving a bit more.
I have long said that I think what we do is important, but I think the place we do it from is at least as important, if not more important. So,
Right.
yeah.
That was a big reason why I went on my trip, Dr. Stu, was that I felt like I needed to see how I can come from here without just being a chiropractor to do it. And I'm
Mhm.
sure I was doing it more than I realized, in my day to day, but it got really easy to just kind of focus in on that that was the only time I was actually improving the world in a way.
Nice.
Which is, but it was true, but it wasn't, doesn't feel that great, right? So
Hmm.
then when I went on the trip, that was part of it. It was like, how can I mean, I don't speak anyone else's language that I was, in Thailand and all these different places. Like, how can I still be of service of what I'm supposed to do?
Hmm.
Which is interesting because I feel like that's a lot of your book. I
Hmm.
haven't finished your book, but it seems like you're really trying to figure out, or helping people figure out how to become impactful from the heart kind of
Hmm.
all the time, everywhere. Is that, I haven't gotten very far, but is that what your book is kind of about?
Uh,
Between heaven and a
it's
heart?
hard to say what that book is about. It's about
Okay, first off,
it.
you're very funny. You are a
Thank you.
very funny man.
Thank you.
I'm loving the kind of banter in there. It's great.
There's a lot of like probably defunct cultural references in there that hopefully some people still get. But half of that book came from journaling I had been doing for years, like first thing in the morning, 3 pages, stream of consciousness kind of journaling. So that's where most of the funny stuff came from.
Okay.
So
Well,
and
that's
I
pretty
had a bunch
impressive
of
that you're
essays.
funny in the morning. Like that's pretty good.
Yeah, yes, yeah. I'm usually pretty funny all day long, but um, sometimes when I'm more tired, I'm even funnier. But yeah, so I somehow can only write 200 words at a time. So it was more a bunch of essays that I sort of cleverly put together and under some paradox theme or something. It's an old book,
Is it? I didn't look at that. I don't, what is,
2005 or something. I think it's 20 years ago. So,
all right. Yeah,
anyway,
this is the picture right here.
oh, you want to put it side by side? Yeah,
Yeah, right.
I happen to have one right here, so
There you go.
we can do that.
Do a nice little comparison. Just so, it's a
Okay.
very.
I'm much more handsome now, I think.
I agree.
Thank you.
Wise, so
Thank
wise.
you. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So yes, it's just what do I say at the beginning? It's just a bunch of, I called it brain droppings then, but I would call them more heart droppings now.
Yeah. So how would you say, let's say somebody, I don't think everybody is an overthinker, but I tend to be. So people who are overthinkers maybe or have trouble like coming down into this space, like what would you say you should do
Whew,
besides get adjusted?
thank you. What else is there?
Right,
um,
right.
so the first thing I might say is, I'd heard the phrase "go to your heart" or "come from your heart" for a long time, and I didn't really know what it meant. So I discovered through something called Heart Math, the Heart Math Institute, which we could talk about a little bit, but
Right.
their approach to accessing the heart is actually literal. So they have tools that I have practiced now for many years, where I just, like in my meditation time especially, but all throughout the day, I'll just start breathing in and out of my heart or putting my attention on my heart space, especially when my mind is super busy.
Mhm.
I might just like stop and breathe in and out of my heart, feel my heart open and expand. And I kind of like visualize all that stuff in my head melting into it. There's a lot of things I do with that, but it's mostly a literal thing. Go to your heart. It
I've
means
noticed
go to
that.
your heart and start paying more attention to it and start acting more on the guidance it gives, because for me the heart is so much more than just a pump of
Right.
blood. Just as mystics and poets have said for eons, it's either the portal to the divine, or I believe that chiropractic we call the wisdom of the body innate intelligence. I believe it definitely speaks to us mostly through our heart. um,
See, and that's different, right, than what most people, even chiropractors, are learning, right?
mhm,
It's nervous system,
Brain,
it's brain,
brain,
it's brain.
brain. Yeah, see that?
Right.
We're all, even chiropractors are brainwashed in that way. Yeah, I mean, so literally, the brain does send messages to the every cell, and but it depends on the input it's getting, and what the Heart Math Institute has proven is that, first of all, there's way more nerve information going from the heart to the brain than from the brain to the heart. The brain pretty much controls the heart's how strong it beats and how rapidly it beats. But the
Yeah.
heart is constantly informing the brain of our emotional state. And I don't want to get too technical here, but when we're in a state of love or compassion or joy or appreciation or deeply caring about somebody or something, then our heart is in what we call a coherent state. And all of a sudden, the messages that are going from the heart to the brain can reach the higher centers of our brain that actually remember what's important to us and remember our deepest intentions in life. But when we're in a state of contraction or fear or guilt or overwhelm or any of those places, I know none of your listeners ever get
Never
into
happened.
those states, but in case they do, then then the heart, and you could measure this, you can see the heart rate variability, which we don't have to get into, is very erratic and very, chaotic. And that's generally how we feel. And the nerve messages don't reach our higher centers. They only get to the lower parts of our brain that are interested in survival and memory and emotion and stuff like that. Folks, I'm telling you why you can't think your way out of your issues.
Right. Yes.
Because you can't, because unless you access your heart first, you can't get to the parts of your brain that can deal with the issues. You can only get to the parts of the brain that will justify the issues or will complain about the issues or will, strike out or any of these things that we probably don't want to do. So yes, I'm on a mission in chiropractic, especially because, chiropractic's based on, no, but chiropractic's based on 33 principles, and the heart is not mentioned once.
That's right. You did say that.
The brain is only mentioned once. So to be
Okay, well, that's
fair,
not great either.
but one nothing is still,
Interesting. The heart is not mentioned
infinitely
once.
more. So yes, the brain does run the body, but it does a much better job of running the body when the heart is engaged and
Engaged.
we are engaged in a state of. So yes, so I'm literally saying, and this is a mouthful here,
Okay.
that we don't
I'm
have to
ready.
go through life trying to think our way into being who we want to be, or changing our behaviors so that we can like ourselves. We don't have to do in order to be what we want to be. We already are those things. Our heart knows it. Our brain argues with it all the time. So yeah, the more we access our heart, the more we learn to abide in our heart, as my wife says. The more we learn to trust it, the more we act on its guidance, the more time we spend there.
Hmm.
Um,
So where did that start for you? Like, was it kind of like a, well, you almost need willpower to keep going to your heart because it's like a default to like, go to your mind or whatever.
mhm.
If you were wired that way, I don't know if you were per se, but
Oh yeah.
how did it look in the beginning? Please tell us to shift that.
Well, I was at the Parker seminar as I was talking about. This was 3 or 4 years after I graduated from chiropractic school, and there was a speaker named Dean Black. He was a PhD. He's passed on now, and he used to teach at Parker College, and he wrote some tremendously wonderful books. By the way, Dean Black. If you don't know him, he was great. I'm not sure how easy it is to find his stuff anymore, but so he starts talking about quantum physics essentially, and I'd never really heard anything about quantum physics before. So he was talking about D.D. Palmer, the founder of chiropractic's beliefs, and how they were being confirmed by quantum physics, by modern science. And I won't get into the details, but it was kind of a dry lecture, even though he was a very warm, funny kind of presenter. But first session, I'm in the back row. After the break, I'm in the front row, and I'm like crying through his whole. He's passed on, like I said, but he probably went to his grave remembering this guy who was crying at his lectures. But what happened for me was, even though he wasn't talking about the heart, he made it very clear to me why I had felt something completely like missing in here, even though I was the valedictorian and had perfect scores on my national boards and learned everything that they taught me. There was something huge missing, and so when he kind of debunked classical science as a, my entire belief system, it was like my entire foundation went away, and it was
Really?
very disorienting at first.
Yeah, I would think
But
so.
it provided a lot of instant inspiration and motivation to fill the hole. And so that's when I met my main mentor, Jim Sigafus. That's when I went on the path of the heart, shall we say. And the mission trips just really cemented that for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, you said it. It takes energy, it takes intention, it takes work at first, just because
Yeah.
we're
Have you
so
read the
used
book?
to.
Oh, sorry.
That's right. I was just going to say we're so used to getting in a boat that and if the boat's in the Mississippi River, we end up in New Orleans, whether we like it or not, whether we like New Orleans or not. And so, this approach to me is like, instead of trying to change New Orleans my entire life so it's more copacetic for me, maybe I can get in a different boat. Right? So that was the work for me. Um,
That's
anyway,
so
viewers.
Oh, no. Well, okay. So I was thinking on that. What was I thinking though? I forgot.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It wasn't even about the book. It was something else, but now I can't remember. Um, have you read the book The Untethered Soul?
Yes.
Yeah, that kind of got me into that a bit. Like I finally could understand what I was feeling. So it was probably a similar experience where they talk about that being you're closed. So I was just curious because you talked about a hole, so feeling like something's missing. I don't think I felt a hole. It felt like I had a nail or something, just or like a big nail, like in there, like it was a lot of pressure, not empty.
Hmm.
Does that sound familiar at all, or is that
Hmm.
something different?
I think I started to feel that more when I started doing the work.
It was
And I don't
easier.
remember like actually doing the breathing into my heart and it hurting,
Yeah. Right.
like I was ripping scar tissue or something. And I'm sure metaphorically I was,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
I think I had put a lot of walls and chains and moats and guard dogs around my heart. So yeah,
Yeah.
I experienced that more when I started feeling what I
Okay.
call a hole.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Um, did you, as you're going through that, because I do a lot of fascia work. I work on people's heart chakras and things like that, right? Um, did you find that you needed any assistance with that, or did you just clear it with yourself and your mentors? Not per se like service, but help.
Oh yeah, I definitely needed assistance.
Yeah.
I mean, I had Sigafus as a coach. I went to his personal development workshop called The Gathering like 4 times a year forever.
Nice. Yeah.
I think like 50 of them total or something.
Wow.
Ended up helping, ended up teaching, ended up kind of leading them with him. But did a lot of work, men's group. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I put a lot of action in place to support my intention to work on myself. Yeah, everything.
Okay, I have another question on that.
Yes.
So, a lot of people have trouble. They might realize it's there, but they don't feel worthy of doing the work or taking the time or spending the money or whatever it is that they have to do to get there. Um, what would you say to somebody like that?
Well, first of all, let's not call it work.
Well, true.
That would be a good start because I don't like that. I mean,
That's true.
I'm like, I don't want to do that. And I
Hmm.
already did it, but and I'm still doing it. So yeah, I call it blissipline. Blissipline, I call it. Because all the stuff I've done, the gratitude work, the breathing into my heart work, the meditation, the journaling, it all brings me joy.
Yeah.
Feeling grateful. Just, I've never practiced gratitude actively and then it felt worse. You
True.
know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, and so, I would say don't do it as a chore. Don't even do it for the future. I mean, I was pretty much assured it would improve my future, but what I only know for sure is that it improves my present moment because I feel more grounded, I feel more centered, I feel more at peace, I feel more joy. So do it for that reason. I mean, and, it's going to have fringe benefits for the future, obviously. But so that's what helped me. I mean, and change things around, or so it's nice to have a lot of tools or a lot of different ways because one day I'll wake up and I'm not going to just sit in meditation because my mind's too active or something. So I'll do a walking meditation or I'll just move some energy first or yeah, so part of that road is just getting more tuned into what you need
Hmm.
and not forcing through it or doing it as a should, which is about my least favorite word in the language.
It's very bad.
It's a head word.
The head
In
word.
fact, there's a clue for you folks. If you're ever entertaining should or shouldn't, you know what part of your anatomy you are in because your heart can't even spell should.
That's so great.
Yeah, yeah. Should is a very disempowering word.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. Awesome. Okay,
Hmm.
so tell me about your so he teaches this, you guys. So if anyone's looking for resources or somebody to talk to, Dr. Sue's got you. You have chiropractic from the heart, I think, retreats. Tell me about those. How did those start?
Well, it sort of evolved out of the Sigafus gathering. So, gosh, I don't know. I think I started doing them mostly for chiropractic students,
Oh, students. Nice.
probably 25 years ago, something around then. So, but since about 2013, my wife and I have been doing them mostly together in Europe, mainly. Mostly because Yeah, I don't even know. That's a long story
Yeah,
how I
how
ended
did
up
you get
having.
people to come to you over there? Goodness,
Well, mostly
that's great.
Europeans come to me over there
Oh, okay.
because I've been speaking at what you mentioned, Cairo, Europe, for 20 years,
Okay.
and that's a huge seminar over there. So most of my clients are in Europe. Most of
Okay.
my gigs are in Europe. I have had an intention to do more in my home country for a long time, and that's sort of been hit or miss. But yeah, so chiropractic from the heart is. I like to do them in the United States. So if anybody's interested after hearing this, let me know. We just need
Right?
about 12 people, 16 people, 20 people, something like that. We do something called holotropic breath work, which is a wild uh, exercise. And but yeah, it's mostly based on stuff we're talking about: tools to access the heart, tools to dust off what's keeping you from accessing your heart. We do a lot of core values stuff because it's one thing to know what you don't want. It's another thing to know what you do want.
Mhm.
And yeah, they're very powerful. They're very awesome. And
How many days are they usually?
we have done them generally right now. They start Saturday. They're all day Saturday, half a day Sunday.
Okay.
We have done some 3-day ones. Like to go back to that again
I
sometime.
think that's so powerful. I don't know. I find,
Mm,
3 or 5, I've kind of been to both lengths, but just you're thinking about changing neural pathways and like trying to start a rut or a new rut or a new
right,
path or whatever.
right.
Like just a few days of being in it, full immersion with other people doing it as
Mm-hmm.
well. It's huge. And
All
most
right.
conferences I've ever been to, or even like hands-on workshops, when everyone's there for the same thing, it's like big transformations that happen. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, I don't know, it's just how it works. I can't always explain it,
Yeah.
but I trust it. So,
Well, that's good. And thank you for the motivation to go back to 3 days.
oh yeah,
I
do
like
it
three
for
days.
sure.
Yeah.
If I'm coming to Italy to come see you, then I want to spend 3 days.
Well, yeah. Well, when you
Or in
come,
the
it'll be at
UK.
least maybe 5 days.
There we go. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. So we've done them all over Europe. It's been amazing. It's been quite a blessing for us to be able to go over there and do a couple of workshops on the weekends and have fun during the week and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love Europe, as I think you do
I
too.
do. It was my
Yeah.
first time, I've been back once now since I met you, but it was pretty short, or it wasn't short. It was a month, but it seemed so fast because I was with a lot of different people and
Mm-hmm.
moving parts. But I definitely think if someone also is looking to wants to meet people that have the same hobbies or the things that they like to do, they need to just go do it because they'll find people that are doing the same thing, kind of like
Nice.
you traveling, right? Like I don't know. I met you because I was traveling and you were traveling, and it was
Mhm.
pretty spectacular. So
Well, you are brave because you do it by yourself. I mean, I go to Cairo Europe by myself, but
yeah,
I feel like that's just going to a family reunion.
I can see it getting there after 20 years. I mean, that's
Yeah,
longer than
yeah,
some family reunions
yeah.
last.
Weirdly, most of my friends in Europe, yeah, it's weird how that's
Have you ever thought about moving there? You
quite
have?
often actually.
Yeah.
First time was like 2001 after I'd spoken in England a couple of times. In England, there are big seminars called Chiropractic Essentials.
Okay.
It was named after Dynamic Essentials, which is
Yeah.
a
Why
big
do I know
seminar
that?
here. DE,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, big seminar in the States. In fact, my mentor Sigafus was coaching somebody in England and got her to start this seminar 25 years ago, and he brought me over there, so I was on the program at the first one, and then I was on the program this past year at the 25th anniversary. I told everybody I was 11 when I spoke at the first one, but nobody seemed to believe me.
They didn't think
But
that was true.
but we already saw what I looked like 25 years ago. So yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know I don't know where we were going there.
That's
But
fine. Not sure
we
either.
were going
Other
to
than
Europe.
other than you were thinking about moving to Europe.
Yes, so I came back and I actually was determined to move there. It was a totally an ego thing because I was so well received and it was in my fledgling speaking and coaching years. And I also had this idea that I didn't want to compete with my mentor. So it all seemed like a great idea to sell my practice and move to England.
Okay.
To the point, and my wife was very supportive, and my daughter was very supportive, even though it's not what they wanted to do. God bless them. And so I actually wrote a letter, and I started distributing it to my patients that I was selling the practice and moving. And I haven't thought about this in a long time. Thank you. So the first person I hand the letter to, he gets angry, which I wasn't expecting at all. And then a few people got like despondent. And and then I walked into this room, and it was an elderly couple, and the wife I'd been adjusting for years. The husband was recently a recent addition to the practice. He reads the thing, and he looks at me, and he says, "Well, I guess they need you more over there than we do." And I don't know to this day if he was kidding or giving me crap or what, but all of a sudden, I'm like, do they? And then I walk into my other adjusting room, and there's a couple that I'd been like, that came over here for years early in the morning, and we meditated together. So these people I knew pretty well. She took one look at me, and she said, "Stu," I didn't even give her the letter yet. She was one of these scary people.
Okay.
She looks at me. She says, "Stu, I give you permission to change your mind." I didn't even tell her what was on my mind yet.
Oh my gosh.
And all of a sudden, this huge gulf of doubt entered my mind. And I said, well, I think all the things that I want to do, I can do here. So anyway, we didn't go, and everybody. My mom was so happy. She threw a huge party for not only us, but for the entire practice.
For staying.
Which was a big practice. And I'm like, Mom, wow, that's pretty amazing. Fortunately, the day of the party, it snowed like 3 feet. So she didn't have to spend all that much money on food. But a bunch of people came anyway. I was still amazed.
And you
Anyway,
were from, is it New York? Is that where you grew up?
yes,
Okay. And your parents moved to
my
California,
parents moved out west after some grandchildren were born on this side of the
Ah,
country.
they do have
Yeah.
a lot of pull, those grandkids.
Yes, the visits went from every 2 years to twice a year,
Okay.
and then and then they moved. So, which was good. Both my wife's parents and mine moved this way,
Okay.
and we said now it's time to move away, but we didn't.
I still have not been to Lake Tahoe yet, but it's
Oh,
on my
okay. Well,
list.
you have a treat in store.
Yes, I can't wait. I'll definitely be looking you up when I
Beautiful.
come.
Nice. Well, you better.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
better,
Hopefully you're
because
home.
these days you'll be posting pictures. I'll say, yeah, she's in Tahoe, and she didn't even call me.
Yeah. Yeah,
No.
you can send me that nice little message saying, "Excuse me, where are you?"
Glad you're enjoying my town.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
Um, okay. Well, Dr. Stu, thank you so much for hopping on
Mm,
here. This has been a wonderful chat.
it's been
Appreciate
a
it.
lot of fun.
Good.
Thank you. It's really good to see you.
Same. Where can people find you?
Well, it's Stu Bittman on Facebook,
Okay.
Bittman, at Bittman Bliss on Instagram.
Okay.
I'm pretty
Oh,
easy to
we
find.
didn't talk about your podcast, because those are great. They're like 10-minute little blurbs. They're so like easily, digestible. I
Yeah,
love them.
some are like 6 and 7 minutes. So yes, Stu on this, STEW dash on dash this. If you don't put the dashes, they won't come up on Amazon or on Apple Podcast. I'm not doing them anymore, but there are 227 episodes of Stu on this still floating around
I
on
started
all.
crying on that last one, and that was the first one I listened to, and then I was like, "Oh my gosh, what is going on?" Um,
All good things must come to an end. Again,
yes. Oh
yeah,
my
because I had
gosh.
stopped doing it halfway, and that was the title of my first last one.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
and then I said, yeah, yeah. Well, I was
Right. Well,
crying
don't
probably
don't
too.
be nervous to change anything, right? Like you just, it's just
Yeah, and
chapter
who
two,
knows? I may go
starting
back to
again.
it again. I'm doing more of a blog now called Stu on this. So that's on Substack, but
Okay.
and without dashes, I believe. So, but thank you. Yeah, I'm proud of that. I still like listening to it. So, well, let's see.
Well,
Tend to.
if you like listening to your own, I struggle
Uh,
listening at my stuff. So that's good that you.
I'm still not crazy about my own voice, but it's good to say. It's like when I read my journaling, I'm like, wow, this is pretty good.
Oh, that's
So
good.
yeah,
Yeah. Give
yeah,
yourself a
thank you.
little pat on the back or pat on the
Yeah, yeah.
shoulder. It's good. Everyone should be able to say,
Well,
good
if I
job,
don't,
push
who
through
will?
it. Exactly. There you go. There you go. Well, thank you
Great.
very much.
Well, thank you for all you do,
Yes, of course.
all you
Maybe we'll
are.
meet again.
Probably in Europe.
Hopefully. Let's do it.
Otherwise, I'll come to South Dakota, do a chiropractic on the.
Wouldn't that be great?
Well, we'll talk
So
about it
we
soon.
need to make more friends.
Me too.
Okay.
Okay. All
That'll
right.
be on my to do. Like make some
It
friends so that
is.
we can have a good experience. That's right.
Yeah, maybe we should stop traveling so much.
Right?
No,
It's
no,
just
no.
like a 2 week friend, and then we hang out and chat for a while, and then pretty soon it just kind of dissolves. I know I can still reach out to most of them, right, when I'm back around, but
Right.
it's not. I don't know.
That
There's
is a
something
big
about
intention of mine.
proximity.
So
Hmm.
very good. We'll hold each other accountable for that.
There we go. All right.
Okay,
Thanks,
Josie.
Dr. Sue. Bye.
Take care. Have a beautiful day.
You too.
Bye.